What's up guys, it's Chase from RenderRite, and in today's video it's quite a cool one. We're going to be putting together a PC, we're going to be building it, unboxing all the parts and showing you that process to build your own PC for Twinmotion or Unreal Engine. It is just a entry level PC, so yeah, let's get started. Got my dandy orange toolkit. Got the motherboard here, which is the B650M A Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to open this up here. The motherboard, which is, just going to move this. We have this is the motherboard. So I'm just going to put that to the side for now. Next we have the CPU, which is an AMD Ryzen 5 7600. So this is a 6-core 12-thread processor, 5.1 GHz max boost with 3.8 GHz base. I get my handy dandy orange. Just gonna get my little blade out. Just gonna start by opening this here. Comes with a cooler, but we actually have a big water cooler to chuck in. This is the CPU, which actually the design of it looks kind of cool. Look at that. And it comes with stickers. Always need stickers. GeForce RTX 4060. This is a WindForce overclock 8 gig. So this is when you can, take it up another level and you can upgrade your graphics card and get a 24 gig or a 16 gig. I'm just going to unbox this. We're not going to take it out of the packaging just yet. I'm going to put that to the side, and when it comes to putting the graphics card into the motherboard, I will show you how to do that. Now we have the PCIe Gen 4 NVMe M.2 SSD. Oh, that's a sentence and a half. And this is a 1 terabyte and it is 7,300 megabytes read speed. This is the storage for our PC. I'm just going to open this with our blade. We've got this little kind of card here. This is our storage, so we're going to put that aside and I'll show you how to install that into the motherboard. Onto the RAM. This is G-Skill Flare X5 DDR5 RAM. Last year when I went to order my PC, the DDR5 was a lot more expensive, but it's dropped in price now, so it's become quite affordable. But when it comes to installing this into the motherboard, we'll take these out just so it doesn't get damaged in the process. Next we have the Master Liquid 360L Core ARGB water cooler. This is an all-in-one water cooler. This is perfect for keeping your CPU cool. Yeah, it'll just keep those temperatures down while you're rendering and going hard at Twinmotion. So yeah, we're gonna unbox this quickly. So it just opens from the end there. All the parts, some thermal paste even included, which was pretty awesome. Just some cables for the RGB and just the mounts for the brackets for the CPU. So we've got that in there. This is the cooler part for it. Or basically the pump that circulates the water around the CPU to keep it cool, and then we have the radiator and fans. Next we have the Silverstone Essential Series ET750, so this is a 750 watt power supply, 80 plus gold certified. The only thing is it's not modular, it's fixed cable. If you're wanting something that's a lot more simpler to install, you can get a modular power supply, so you can just have the select cables that you need for your PC. This one has them all built in, so yeah, we're going to make a start and unboxing this now.
We're
we've just got warranty information, some other stuff here, multi-language manual, essential series. So this is the guide. Underneath we have the power supply. We've got the power cable, plugs into the power supply, and then we've got the power supply here. So I can take it out. And there we go. There's the power supply. But that's what I'm talking about, fixed cables. So it's got a bunch of cables already fixed to the power supply. It's not modular. So if you're looking for something that's a bit more simplistic, you can get a modular power supply. But yeah, even for this case, I can show you how to install one of these. So yeah. Now we are going to move on to the PC case. So this is a TK3 series. It has a glass panoramic front. So I'm just going to unbox this with my blade. Got these, whatever these are, some complementary cable ties, screws and stuff here on its side like that, and then it should just slide out. Sometimes the handles on the side here get caught. So be careful if you've got a glass PC cover. You don't want to damage or break the glass. Well, actually, I might put it this way for starters. There we go. So this is an awesome case. It has a panoramic glass front, which I thought looked pretty awesome. Plenty of storage space. You can take the top of this off, put your radiator in there for your water cooler, front USB ports and USB-C port, and audio. Around the back, your motherboard, graphics card, fans, radiator, whatever. And then on this side you have a ventilated mesh side, which if you can see, you can kind of see through, which is pretty awesome for some added airflow. We're going to move on to the next step, which will be putting the motherboard together and the parts into the motherboard. Start putting our motherboard together now. On here it says static sensitive device, so make sure you discharge your static before touching any of the stuff, just to avoid any unwanted damage to your parts. Okay, now be careful when you take this out, they don't bump any of the capacitors coming through the bottom or any of the parts on top. So we've got this here, just going to put it softly on the ground there. This is where our SSD, NVMe SSD will go, our RAM, our graphics card. Okay, we're going to start by adding the RAM in. Now we can open the RAM up. Again, an awesome sticker, another sticker. So yeah, we've got these two bits of RAM cards here. So you just pop these out. You just pop it out like that. Place it down there and you can put that one away. On the motherboard, it shows you if you've only got 2 RAM cards, it shows you the first 2 slots to use. So you can't just use any random RAM slot, you have to use the first ones that it states from either in the manual or on the motherboard. I'm going to start by putting in the first 2 bits of RAM. To do that, you've got these little pins on either side here, these 2 pins. So you just pop those just carefully. Oh, actually this motherboard doesn't have ones at the bottom. And then you've got this little bit here, this little bit on the RAM, and you have to line it up with the tooth on the motherboard RAM slot. So yeah, make sure you have it the right way. And make sure it clicks on the latch up the top here. So then we just line up, same direction, find on here where the next RAM will go. So it's in the slot over here. So we just again push that open, and then again push that in. And then once you have your RAM in, you can move on to putting either the SSD or CPU in. Next, we're going to use my toolkit here, and we're going to install the SSD. So I've got my screwdriver. I'm just going to take this heat shield off. And then once you have that heat shield off, there's a little sticker here, but we're just going to leave that to the side for the moment. Now we're going to install our NVMe SSD. I'm going to open this up, this bad boy. Be careful because it is delicate and it is small. You basically come in on a 45 and you just slide it in, and then it's like that, and you can just push it down. There's a little piece here that you rotate and then close over. Now we have that installed, which is really simple, and then we can go ahead and put the heatsink back on. But before we put the heatsink back on, we're going to take this sticker off that's on the back, like so. Then we're going to put it back on here. Then we screw it back on, and that one's done. Moving on to the CPU. So this is an interesting one. We have this here. We're going to push down, pull it to the side so this comes up, and then you can go ahead and lift this. Go ahead and take that plastic bit off. This is probably the most delicate part of the process, so you got to be extremely careful when installing the CPU that you don't, when you open it, it goes flying out onto the ground or anything. And also try not to get any fingerprints or too many fingerprints on here. If you do, just clean it, but you don't want to get any finger oils on there. Okay, now the easy part of this is that with these AMD CPUs, there's no pins on the back. Okay, the pins are on the motherboard, and on the motherboard around the corners you'll find a little triangle which is pointing outwards. Okay, so you need to find on the CPU, so on this CPU up the top left corner we've got the arrow pointing outwards, so you need to align that with the arrow on the motherboard. Okay, we're just going to place this in extremely carefully like that. Now that's in there, that's complete. We're going to close the lid here just like that, and then we're going to push this over, down and back, and that's all it is. Okay, now your motherboard has your CPU installed. Basically that's it for this process. So we've got the RAM, CPU and SSD installed. Once we have the motherboard installed into the PC, then we can go ahead and install the GPU. Now we're moving on to removing this side panel, which kind of looks a bit extreme to remove in my opinion. Just hand screwed on. So just going to remove that one. This one on this side. Comes off. Okay, this is interesting. Every case is different to put together. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this side panel. Because it's basically like Lego. And then you just pull that backwards and then that comes off. So I'm going to put that to the side and tie this so that comes up here. We're just going to put the power supply in. So we're just looking at the instruction manual here, and it's saying that the power supply goes here and the motherboard goes here. So like I said, every case is different. We have the power supply which will sit like that in there. So the screws for those will be in where all the case screws were. Okay, so we're just going to slide the power supply in here, and then I've got some screws. We're going to turn this around. Put this to the side here. We're going to lay this down. Just like that. Now we install the motherboard. So this is another process where you have to be extremely careful because it's extremely delicate. There's these little gold parts where we screw in here. Just there, see, we've got it all lined up. And then on the side here, got that, which before we actually put the motherboard in, so we're going to take this back out quickly, put this back to the side here. So in the motherboard box we have the back plate for the motherboard, so we're just going to open this up. So basically it's got these little ribs on the sides here. You just make sure it's facing upright with the text, and then you just slot it in here. So you just basically push it in on either side, just like that, and she's in. So I've just got the motherboard here again. Okay, now we're going to start to screw the motherboard in. So we've got one there, I just need to screw that one in, but then we've got one up there, one there, I need to screw another one in over there. Our motherboard is secured in there tightly. So as you can see, we've got our motherboard installed, our power supply installed. Now we're going to go ahead and start setting up our water cooler. I'm going to put that to the side. So I've got each fan here. Pull this out. We have this. So I'm just trying to figure out where we're going to put this bad boy. I'm thinking we put it up here. We're going to put it up there. Okay, so we have to go ahead and install each one of these. So we have all the parts in here. That's for the RGB, thermal paste, which we'll need. So these long ones here are the ones that we're going to need to start off with. We're going to screwdriver. If we're having the radiator at the top, make sure that the cables are facing the back so we can run it through the back. I'll show you what I mean. We'll just start putting these on. These screws here. So this is going to screw into the top of the radiator through here. Putting one of these in each corner. So now you can see my fans. But we're going to run all those cables behind through those slots up the back there. Now it's all tidy up in here. And yeah, the cables just run through the back. We have the user manual here. Once you find the one that suits your CPU, so there's Intel and AMD, I was actually supposed to leave the plastic bits on. These actually screw into the plastic bits, so I'll show you what I mean. There's these 4 other screws that I need to screw these bits onto the cooler. So now we have the CPU. We need to grab the thermal paste here, Cairo fused thermal paste, and we need to apply a pea-sized amount to this so that there's a thermal binding between the CPU and the water cooler. We've got that on there now. Probably one of the easiest water coolers I've actually ever put on in my life. That's the main bulk of everything done. Well, obviously minus the graphics card. Now we need to just start rerouting all the cables and getting that all sorted. Start connecting some of the cables up now. Cable tie everything when we're done. So when you're installing the USB, it's got a little nib. So just line up the little nib, push it in, and it's got a little name, so F panel, FP1, so there'll be front panel 1. HD audio, so just follow your motherboard instructions. It will tell you where to place each one of these little connectors on the motherboard. It is really straightforward, so don't freak out about it. Yeah, it's an easy thing to put together. It's a bit like Lego. And then we've got these other connectors, but you just plug these into the system fans. So there's little system fan and pump fan. So yeah, I'll plug that into the pump fan. This one here will send through the back because it will be plugged into another little connector thing. We've got this bird's nest in the back here, which we will use these. So this is all from the water cooler. One connector will basically plug into the motherboard and split off into all the different fans. This essentially is an adapter, so this will plug into the motherboard at the top, like that. And then we send these 3. Once that's complete, these will plug into each one of these fan connectors. So there's 3 fans and 3 power connectors. All those connected. This plug into here. So you just line these up and then you join them. Then you join those ones, join that, boom. Then there is also one for the water cooler, and then you just plug that one in as well. And then this one here will feed back up through. So I'm just starting to tidy some of this stuff up. This is a little bit of a process, but you know, once you do it a couple times, you get used to it. So now when we have a look, starting to tidy up in here, it's looking pretty good. Cable ties are my best friend when it comes to this stuff, because it just starts to keep everything tidy. Now that we've done that, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to setting one of these up. It's probably a bit better to get something that's modular, but I might just shove it in the hard drive case here. So you're just going to go through and separate what you need. This is to power the motherboard, so we need that one. Actually, let's put that on this side there. What's this for? The CPU. See, they've got little labels on the side, CPU. Start guiding them into those areas. Just leave that there for the graphics card. See, we don't need all of this, so if you have a modular power supply, you can actually just be selective on what you want to put in. We've got the motherboard plug here. We want to plug this into here. It's pretty easy, you just turn it around and it only goes in one way, so just like that. There we go, so you can split that. Up in here we have 2 slots for the power, to power the CPU. So we've got to separate these and this one. Cool, there we go. And like I said, I'm just going to try and slot all of these into this extra hard drive space down here, just to try and conceal it, which seems to be working. And then all we have left is the PCIe for the graphics card. We have all this stuff here as well, but yeah, that can kind of hide. It's all just about kind of like cable management as well, so that's why these cable ties come in handy. Now that we have all of these installed, that's pretty much it for all of this. Probably just get, you know, a couple more cable ties. Essentially we'll want to cover this with some fans, so yeah, we'll look at getting some fans to cover that. We'll probably chuck the graphics card in now. Well, we are going to put in the graphics card, so this is another static sensitive object, so just be careful when handling these items. So here is the Gigabyte GeForce RTX card, which looks freaking awesome. Just gonna go ahead and just install this. You have to make sure that this slot here lines up with this, but then you also have to take the back plates out of here, or just the required ones for the graphics card. I'm just going to take this protector off of here, and I'm not going to put it in, but I'm just going to line it up with that to see what ones of these I need to take out. So I need to take out those two. I'm going to use my screwdriver, and then we're going to want to take that one and that one out. Each case is different. Some of them you have to break them off depending on how cheap the case is, or some of them you just unscrew. So once you have those two out, or the ones that you need for your graphics card, you can go ahead and just line up. So there's two parts, this part and this part, and you've got to make sure that the tooth on there is lining up before you push it down, otherwise it'll break. Yep, we've got it lined up, and then just push it in, and there we go. That's the graphics card in now. Just going to screw those screws back in. Cool, so that's the graphics card in. And then we have this PCIe plug just here. I need to add these other two little bits on, because each one of these is different as well. Each graphics card requires a different amount of power, just like that, and then we'll just cable tie those together. We're going to stand it up. Okay, once you have all these items in here now, it starts to get heavy, so just be careful when you're moving this around. It's pretty much set up now. If we just go around and Observe. This graphics card has DisplayPort, HDMI, and another DisplayPort. Motherboard also has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. I'm going to go through and cut off these and put the glass back on. All that's needed to do now is install the operating system. So you need just like a USB or something. You can download it from the Microsoft website, or you can get the Microsoft approved USBs that come with the Windows installers. There's also one more thing I forgot to show you. It comes with these little plastic pieces here, so you can actually use these to we could probably do a little bit better cable management, but I don't have any more cable ties, so we're a bit stuck there. But yeah, see this cable here? My idea is actually to get 3 fans that we can put here to basically cover this back end. It would actually look pretty awesome with another 3 fans here and even one more fan up here. And if you want to go out the gate, you could even put another 3 fans down here and just have a fan, basically just a computer fan. As we have it now, it is looking damn good. We are going to get it started, so yeah, well, let's move on to that now. This back on. Now we're just going to be moving on to plugging all of this in. So down here I have my PC, but I'm just going to unplug all of that stuff and plug it into the new one. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to unplug the display port and everything else. So I've installed Windows onto this USB. Unplug Ethernet, just everything really. So I just plug in the display port, keyboard, mouse, and then I just have the Ethernet cable, which I have here, and then power cable. Once we have all those plugged in, just going to turn the power switch on. We're also going to plug in the USB that we've installed Windows 11 onto. So we're just going to plug that into one of the USB 3 ports in the back here. Once we've got that installed and we have switched the power switch on, we're going to turn the PC on. Once we have that on, we're going to come over to the screen here, and then you're going to select the boot device. So we're going to select the USB that we installed Windows 11 onto, so we're just going to click enter. Now it has booted Windows 11 from the USB device. Then you're just going to choose your language and time and currency format, and I'm going to select English New Zealand. Next, NZ Aotearoa. Next, install Windows 11 to my PC. I agree everything will be deleted. Make sure you tick that and click next. So this is the product key. You don't have to have a product key to install Windows, but once you have your product key you can install Windows. I'm just going to go I don't have a product key, and then you're just going to select the edition of Windows that you want to install, but make sure that when you do get a product key that you have the same version of Windows installed and it's the same as your product key. So I'm going to install Windows 11 Pro, but I'm also getting a Windows 11 Pro product key. So next, scroll down, accept. This one here, the 931.5 gigabytes, is where I'm going to install the Windows 11. So I'm just going to select that and go next. Install Windows 11 Pro, keep nothing, install. Now it's just going to go through the install process of installing Windows 11. Once that's complete, we'll move on to the next step. Once that's complete, you will get a opening Windows. Then you just want to go through and do the setup process. MSI has included this utility tool that comes with, I guess, the motherboard. So we've got here all the drivers for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, PCIe, graphics drivers, chipset drivers, everything basically. So we're going to go ahead and install all of these, and then we're going to install the GeForce Experience from NVIDIA, which is the graphics drivers for our NVIDIA graphics card. So I'm just going to install those. So actually, while that's downloading, we're just going to go down to just Microsoft Edge. Then up here, we're just going to search GeForce Experience. Download GeForce Experience. Download now, and then it's going to download. Once that's downloaded, we are going to install. And now we're just going to click Open File. Yes. Agree and install. Once GeForce Experience is downloaded, you're going to need to log in with either Google or something like that. Once you have set that up and verified your email, you just want to go continue. So at the top left, we've got drivers. We're going to select that. And then over on the right, we've got the 3 dots here. We've got Game Ready Driver and Studio Driver. I just leave it at Game Ready Driver, and I'm just going to click Download. Up here, we've got Express Installation and Custom Installation. I'm just going to select Express Installation for now. So that's just going to go ahead and download the GeForce driver. While that's installing, we're going to go and download the Epic Games Launcher. So just search in Google Epic Games Launcher. Then we're just going to select Download Epic Games Launcher. Up the top right, we have Download. Just click that. And then it's going to download it to your Downloads folder. Just install the Epic Games Launcher. Install. Once the Epic Games Launcher is installed, you're going to have to create a Epic Games account, and then you can install Twinmotion. Once you have created an Epic Games account, you're going to go to Unreal Engine, Twinmotion, and then you can select your Twinmotion version and then select install. That's it. You've created a PC, you've installed all the parts, you've installed all the software and Twinmotion, so you can get started and start doing some rendering. What's up guys? So yeah, thanks heaps for watching this video. It's been an awesome video. We've gone through and set up an entire PC, from putting in the PC parts to cable management to installing all the software and getting into Twinmotion. So yeah, thanks heaps for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.